I think, Mikayla, we know about Mascaragate, or most of you know about Mascaragate. And Susan, you just revealed that you were going through an FTC investigation at the beginning of starting your career.
All right, it's been a minute since we've checked in on Mikayla, and let's just say there's plenty to unpack. She's been making moves, calling herself a business owner now, and even pulling in some major investors. But it's been over a month since I last saw her content. Spoiler alert, it's still a wild ride. Let's rewind real quick. I remember when I first stumbled on Mikayla's content a few years back. Everyone was dragging her online, and honestly, I thought folks were being a little too brutal. The main thing people kept accusing her of, that she was faking her accent and latching onto other creators just to climb the clout ladder. At the time, I was like, seriously? That's the scandal? Look, the internet is packed with dudes doing way worse, and they still get praised. So if she switched up her voice a bit to stand out on the algorithm and turn heads, who's really getting hurt by that? It felt like people were reaching just to have something to say. Then came Lashgate, and from that moment, it was like watching a train go off the rails. After that, it just kept spiraling. There were moments where she didn't even disclose sponsorships, flexed luxury gifts from brands without any transparency, and allegedly lied about the results from some of the products she was paid to promote. One day, it's this serum that changed her skin. The next day, it's a different brand that saved her hair. Like, how can every single product be the one? Oh, and we can't forget all the whispers about those Ozempic rumors floating around. The scandals seriously stacked up, one after the other. Still, I always try to believe people can switch it up for the better. Maybe after years of fans and creators calling her out, she's had a wake-up call. I want to believe there's been some growth, even though deep down, I kinda doubt it. But hey, maybe I'm just being too skeptical. Now, ever since Mikayla dropped her own skincare brand, POV Beauty, I figured she'd slow down on accepting skincare sponsorships left and right. I mean, you'd think she'd want to put all her focus on her own line now, right? Some of y'all might remember that video I did last year where she popped up with yet another skincare sponsorship, like clockwork. She used to push new skincare products every single week, sometimes even multiple times in 1 week. And every time she'd swear that was the miracle behind her glowing skin. Like, come on, now that she's got her own brand, you'd think she'd be all in on promoting her own stuff, right? But nope, Mikayla is still chasing those skincare sponsorships.
So you're looking for an easy, no BS morning skincare routine that leaves your skin looking like this every day? Yeah, you're gonna use Mixsoon. You're gonna start the routine with the Sundi Centella Asiatica Essence. I'm just gonna pat this into my skin for the hydration. And that third and final step, the Bean Sunscreen SPF 50. You can get this entire routine right now on Amazon. Just 3 products, and the skin will thank you. Yeah, you could say I've achieved the skin of my dreams.
And just like I figured, she's still not disclosing them properly. It's the same old pattern. Just yesterday, she dropped what looked exactly like a sponsored post for a skincare brand called Mixsoon. But here's the kicker. There was 0 verbal disclosure. And nothing in the caption either. Not a word. It's giving shady. And people are definitely noticing. She wrote, "Run to Amazon for this morning's skincare routine. I've been using Mixsoon for months, mornings and nights, and I'm obsessed. Glass skin in a bottle." Then she tagged at Mixsoon and buried it in a sea of hashtags like Amazon, Mixsoon, Mixsoon partner, morning skin, skincare routine, Korean skincare, bean essence. So now it's clear, this was definitely a sponsored post. She tucked that disclosure way down in the middle of a hashtag dump like it would just disappear. And we all know that's a major FTC red flag. That kind of sneaky tagging isn't allowed, and she's been doing this for how long now? And look, not to sound petty, but I'm really trying to figure out how Mikayla even finds the time to test out all these different skincare products she's promoting, plus keep swearing by her own line. Like, does she have 10 faces we don't know about? It's starting to look like she named her line Skin Prep on purpose, just so she could still snatch up every skincare sponsorship out there, say it's not the same, and keep the cash flowing. But let's be real, Skin Prep is skin care. What's wild is that her own fans are showing more loyalty to her brand than she is. Someone dropped a comment saying, "It can't be better than your line," and Mikayla replied with, "Different purposes." Then another person chimed in, "I love that you don't just promote your own product." And she answered, "I love many products, especially mine." Now sure, it's totally normal to like a mix of stuff, but let's be real here. Is it really about loving all these products, or is she just loving the fat paycheck that comes with each post? Especially when she's clearly not being upfront that she's getting paid. This wasn't even the first time. This was her second sponsorship with Mixsoon that she failed to disclose properly. She did another one just a few weeks ago, and the comment section was full of her own fans scratching their heads. One person asked, "What about your skin line?" And Mikayla snapped back, "What about it?" Another asked, "Should we get this or your skincare?" And she said, "POV is skin prep for makeup, depends on your needs." So yeah, just like I suspected, she's playing this game where she calls her brand skin prep, so she can still push other skincare products and not look like she's double dipping.
You see my under eyes right now? It looks like I literally just got the best sleep of my life. Like 12 hours, REM. I've tried every eye cream, eye serum, eye gel, under eye patches. When I tell you most of them irritate my under eyes so bad, this did exactly what it said it was supposed to do. This is the best one I've tried.
Even though we all know it's still skincare, the only product from her line that maybe counts as legit skin prep is that primer she sells. Everything else? Straight up skincare. No question. But it doesn't stop there. Oh no. Mikayla went and took another skincare sponsorship, this time from a brand called Belief, promoting their under-eye gel pen. And once again, no clear disclosure. Just another sneaky little hashtag buried in the post. What makes it worse? The brand is fully aware of it. These companies approve the videos before they go live, so there's no way they missed it. And to top it off, they're all over Mikayla's comment section, replying to people like, "Everything's cool." At this point, it's like no one's even surprised anymore. Everyone just assumes this is what Mikayla's gonna do. Like, yeah, we get it. Another ad with no disclosure. But what blows my mind is that a major brand, one that's sold in Sephora, is actually okay with that kind of shady rollout. That's wild. And here's the twist. I actually like Belief as a brand. Seeing them co-sign Mikayla's shady promo tactics is a letdown. Even her own fans are starting to look confused. People are in her comments like, "Can you show me where I'd use this in my POV routine?" Because they're genuinely thinking she's using all of these products on her face every single day. And now they're sitting there like, "Wait, what? When are we supposed to use this? This is too much. It's a total overload, and yet people are still buying it." You can see from the replies, folks are hooked no matter how messy it gets. And get this, Mikayla just got called out again, but this time it wasn't even about hiding a sponsorship. Now she's being accused of swiping someone else's idea. She did a paid post for the Marc Anthony blowout spray, claiming it was a dupe for a high-end version. But that comparison, apparently it was originally made by another creator, and now people are saying she just snatched it and passed it off like it was hers.
Marc Anthony knew exactly what they were doing with this product. I mean, come on. I didn't think this could ever be duped, but they did it. This is the Marc Anthony Grow Long Ultimate Blowout Spray. And you know exactly what this is a dupe for. Do I even have to say it? Not to mention, it works the same, if not better. And I picked it up at Walmart for just around 10 bucks. I am spraying this generously throughout my hair. This is anti-frizz, humidity resistant. It's gonna give you smooth, shiny, silky hair. Not to mention, this protects against heat up to 450 degrees, so let's blow dry. Literally looks and feels like I just got a salon blowout, but I did it at home for 10 bucks. Now that is a win.
Now, why didn't Mikayla just come out and say it was a dupe for the Color Wow Dream Coat spray? Well, probably because she's tight with Chris Appleton, the same celeb hairstylist who did her wedding hair. And word is, he did it for free because they're that close. Chris is a major partner with Color Wow, so of course she didn't want to ruffle any feathers or make it look shady by hyping up a cheaper alternative to his brand's product. It kind of gives flashbacks to that whole fake tan drama she got dragged into a while ago. But that's a whole different story.
This again is the WOW Dream Coat. Dun, 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 dun. Now I know what you're saying, girl, the packaging. I know it's a duperoonie packaging, but we don't care about packaging. This could be in a mayonnaise jar and I would still tell you that it's a duperoonie. This is the Mark Anthony Grow Long Anti-Frizz Shield Ultimate Blowout. Superior humidity resistance. Let me know if you try it. I got mine at Wally World. I love you so much.
The real issue? People were lighting up her comment section for not giving credit to the creator who actually put that dupe on the map, Nina Poole. One of the top comments was, "Did you learn that from Nina Poole?" Because I did. Thanks, Nina. And Mikayla clapped back with, "No." Then someone else said, "Please tag Nina. You know she was there first." And Mikayla responded, "Love Nina." But she did not create this product, and it's known that it's a dupe, so no LOL. Like, girl, what? The energy was real dismissive. Look, I get it. Sometimes folks go a little overboard when it comes to crediting online, but in this case, Nina really did go viral for putting that dupe on everyone's radar. Whether she was the very first to discover it or not, the fact is she's a smaller creator, and Mikayla has way more reach. A simple tag would have gone a long way. But then again, Mikayla doesn't even manage to drop legal disclosures in her captions, so giving credit to another creator? Yeah, that was probably never in the cards. Let's be real with ourselves. If she's skipping over FTC guidelines, what makes anyone think she's gonna shout out a smaller influencer? That's just not her style. Anyway, shifting gears, Mikayla recently popped up on a panel hosted by the Business of Fashion, and the vibe got real interesting. The host didn't hold back. They actually brought up all the controversy Mikayla's been involved in. They even dropped the name Mascara Gate on stage and pointed out that another creator on the same panel is currently being investigated for FTC violations.
Both of you also have dealt with some controversy in your influencer careers and also your brand journeys. You know, I think, Mikayla, we know about Mascara Gate, or most of you know about Mascara Gate. And Susan, you just revealed that you were going through an FTC investigation at the beginning of starting your career.
Now that's awkward. I'm sorry, but that look on her face, that was definitely a guilty expression if I've ever seen one. You could tell Mikayla was totally thrown off, like she did not expect anyone to bring up Mascara Gate on a public stage. She looked shook. Now, I don't know the full details on that other creator and what kind of FTC violations they're being investigated for. But come on, the fact that the person sitting right next to her is under investigation, you'd think Mikayla would take that as a sign to start tightening up her own disclosures. But nope, as we've seen, she's still out here being loose with the rules. During the panel, Mikayla went off on this whole rant about how influencer brands are always under a microscope and held to higher standards than luxury brands. And look, I get her point to some extent. Influencers do get nitpicked harder sometimes. But let's not ignore the bigger picture. Maybe people are so critical of influencer brands because a lot of them come off like quick cash grabs. Throw a label on a private label formula, slap a promo code on it, and call it a day. That's what folks are tired of. Let's be real. So many of these influencer brands cut corners left and right. Most of these influencers weren't built to be CEOs, and that's exactly why stuff goes sideways so often.
Well, I think something a lot of people don't realize about influencer brands specifically is that we are the brands held to the absolute highest of standard. We are held to higher standards than the most prestige brands like La Mer, Augustinus Bader, Sicily. We're held to higher standards than that. We're held to higher standards than traditional founder brands where it's just founded by, say, a makeup artist or a hairstylist. We're held to standards because when you build a parasocial relationship with your community, they see you as a friend. And the most important thing in friendship is trust and honesty. So when you launch a brand to your community who you've built this relationship with, they are putting their full trust in you for this launch. Specifically when it comes to your ingredients, your marketing, your community building, everything you do is under a very, very fine microscope, which is a blessing and a curse because as a new brand, for instance, it gives you a minimal amount of grace to make mistakes. And it's a positive thing because it allows you to make the necessary changes, adjustments, and fixes to your brand at a quick pace because you get called out immediately for it.
Just look back at Jaclyn Hill and Lipstick Gate. That whole mess was a disaster, and she made it worse by jumping on Twitter to clap back at customers, basically blaming them for having dry lips. Can you imagine Rihanna doing that if Fenty had the same issue? Not a chance. She'd be handling it with class, not attitude, influencer brands just hit different, and not always in a good way. They've had a track record of messy launches, poor customer service, and way too much drama. Recently, POV, Mikayla's own brand, got called out because they allegedly asked a creator to take down their video after they posted a negative review or had some kind of problem with a product. The brand told them they needed time to look into the issue. That doesn't sound great, but to be fair, I haven't really seen a flood of negative reviews for POV. There have been a few complaints here and there about packaging issues or long shipping times, but for the most part, the feedback has actually been pretty solid. And for an influencer brand, that's kind of rare. Now, just to balance it out a bit, there was one recent video Mikayla posted that I actually thought was actually brutally honest. A total switch up from her usual polished, filtered content. Let's not kid ourselves. Everyone knows Mikayla edits her photos heavy. The difference between her Instagram pics and how she looks in her videos is like night and day. And yeah, people have definitely called her out for it. It can feel misleading, especially since her face is literally her brand. But here's the tough part. While it is a form of deception, I also can't ignore that she's a product of the same beauty standards she's feeding into. She's stuck in a cycle. On one hand, she's editing herself to keep up with unrealistic ideals. And on the other hand, young girls are watching her, comparing themselves to those heavily filtered photos and feeling less than. It's complicated. She's being affected and she's passing that pressure on. That's the harsh reality. But in this one video, Mikayla got real. She opened up about how much she struggles with self-image, how staring at her face every day has made her hypercritical, and how it's messed with her confidence. And I've gotta admit, that moment felt genuinely self-aware.
I was just watching some of my earlier videos, and the one thing I noticed about videos of me from like 2020, 2021 is I didn't really give as much of about how I looked and the beauty standards. And basically what happened is 5 years of staring at myself in a camera and 5 years of hearing constant opinions about my appearance has totally like wrecked my opinion of myself, and I find that I'm constantly trying to look perfect. This video is me telling you that I'm sick of that, because I don't fit the beauty standard. I'm not a bombshell on Love Island, bitch. But the constant trying to be perfect thing, it's exhausting, okay? And I just want to be, I want to look at my old videos and relate to that again. Not what I've currently got going.
Mikayla originally blew up because people saw her as real, as someone they could actually relate to. She felt like a regular girl living a regular life, and her fans connected with that hard. They saw themselves in her. But over the years, it feels like she's drifted far from that image. Now it's the fillers, the cosmetic tweaks, the heavy edits. She's morphing into that typical LA influencer look, and that's exactly why people are starting to speak out. Like, a lot of the criticism she's getting isn't even about how she looks. It's about how different she looks compared to her own edited posts. If Mikayla just showed up as her real, unfiltered self, there'd be nothing to drag her over. The internet wouldn't have much to say. Because let's be honest, if Mikayla was just fully authentic, no filters, no Facetune, no smoke and mirrors, and then someone went online to trash her appearance, they'd be the problem. Not her. It's the constant contrast between real life and edited fantasy that keeps stirring everything up. All the comments under that video were filled with fans saying they miss the real Mikayla, the one they connected with from the beginning. So maybe, just maybe, this moment will be a wake-up call for her. Because the way she's editing herself on Instagram, it's not just tough on her followers, it's taking a toll on her too. That kind of pressure isn't healthy for anyone's mental state. Anyway, I want to hear what you think about all of this. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Don't hold back. And if you love the tea, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for No Filter, where we spill fresh celebrity gossip every single day. Like, share, comment, and I'll catch you in the next one.